Tonight's match between Louisville City and Hartford Athletic is brought to you by General Electric Appliances. Two of the top three goal-scoring teams in the USL Championship collide in the regular season finale, alongside former Guyana midfielder Chris Nurse. Michael Watring with you here tonight as we take a glance at our standings. We know Lou City is the number one team in the entire league, the Shield winners. We don't know who they will play. And for Hartford, we don't know whether or not they'll have a home game or not. We'll get to their scenarios in just a moment, but Lou City is having a historic season. And tonight, if they win, they'll surpass the all-time record for points per game in a season.
Yeah, I think it's been a fantastic year for them so far. They've just lost one game so far over the whole duration of the USL Championship season, which is absolutely incredible. And I don't see them taking their foot off the gas tonight for a number of reasons. Of course, the points per game record, but the last time these two teams met, it was a pretty tasty affair.
It was a 1-1 draw that time around as we take a look at our player profile presented by Commonwealth Credit Union. Taylor Davila, second in the league in terms of total assists. He can get to the number one spot with an assist tonight.
Yeah, every team needs three key characteristics to be successful. You need a fantastic goalkeeper, you need a striker who's going to get you 15 goals a season, but you also need a midfielder who has the eye, the capability and the technique to deliver those passes and break down defenses, and Taylor Davila has been that man.
That's Lou City. For Hartford, before we came on the air, North Carolina beat Loudoun 1-0. So these are the scenarios to clinch a home playoff match for Hartford Athletic. A win is the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, they'll be looking at Pittsburgh and Phoenix. For Hartford Athletic and Brendan Burke's side, Mishi Galina has scored 3 times in the last 2 matches. He's playing his best action at the end of the year.
Yeah, and exactly that. At the end of the year, they didn't start off the season fantastic. They haven't had the season that Louisville have had in terms of consistency, but they're hitting peak form at the right time. Momentum, clean sheets, dangerous inside the box. They're picking up the momentum and steam at the right moments, and as you spoke about, things are in their hands whether they can host a home playoff game.
Hartford have only beaten Lou City once in 10 prior meetings. Can they do so tonight and clinch a top 4 spot? Or will Lou City break the all-time record for points per game in a season? Find out next.
Around here, it's all or nothing. That's why your Toyota dealer has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling Toyota Camry. Or the stylishly advanced new Corolla. Now get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 Corolla or Camry while supplies last. Or lease a new 26 Corolla for $209 a month or a Camry for just $279 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance included. Get all you need at your Toyota dealer now. Toyota, let's go places.
You ready to lose?
Oh, you wish. Let's go.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. No minimums, no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
Best 2 out of 3.
Let's go.
Get to the next level with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Fast forward into fall at Brasserie Provence. Southern French comfort food, daily specials, and much more. Unique wine dinners and special events with world-class wine and spirits. Expertly presented and perfectly paired with Chef Patrick Gosden's cuisine. Take a cooking and cocktail class, a wine tasting, or painting class. Enjoy our Friday evening kitchen table experience. Plus, exquisite catering for private events. Call today or make your reservations at brasserieProvence.com.
So this is Lynn Family Stadium's Premium Club area. You come in here on a game day, it's an all-exclusive experience with food and drink. You get to see the team come out.
Have you heard of Brian Ownby?
Oh, yeah.
His speed on the pitch is...
I'll be out there in a sec. Feeling a little slow today.
We know Candace will be watching, and you can too. Watch Louisville City all season long on WBKI and on WDRB+.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. For the 11th time, Hartford Athletic and Louisville City collide, and it comes here tonight in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And this is the first time in USL history that two current trophy holders play in the same season. It is Lou City winning the Players' Shield, a back-to-back champion for Louisville, while Hartford won the Jägermeister Cup with a 1-0 victory, their first trophy in club history. Lou City makes two changes. Both of them are in the back with Jones and Adams coming back, and Jean Toche makes his 300th appearance in the USL as their starting lineups for the match, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank.
Quite an accomplishment there for Toche. 300 games, an integral part of this team for a number of years. One of the top scoring defenders in the USL Championship. I'm sure he wants to get his hands on another trophy.
Conversely, for Hartford here this evening, one of the greatest substitute goal scorers in the history of this league, Kyle Edwards, gets the start here tonight for Hartford.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Hartford approach this game. They know they've got to go out to win if they want to host the home game. But they're coming up against a team that's lost just one game over the course of the season. So they actually have to find a way to do something that's not been done too many times. So it's going to be interesting to see the belief, how they approach their game from an offensive standpoint. Of course, there's not much to be gained or lost should they lose this game. Or there's a lot to be gained if they win. There's not much to be lost if they lose this game. So they really probably going to take the game on the front foot and go about trying to be as offensive as they can.
Week 34 of the USL Championship. The regular season finale is underway here in Louisville. It is Louisville City and Hartford Athletic. Michael Watford, Chris Nurse, and the rest of our team with you here this evening. So great to have you with us to tie a bow on the season. Louisville City is the #1 seed in the East. They've clinched the Shield. They are now looking for bits of history. Points per game. If they win, they would set the record there. If they avoid a loss tonight, they would be just the 4th team in USL history with just one loss in a season, and the first since Rochester did so a decade ago. Meanwhile, for Hartford, they can clinch a home playoff match with a victory here tonight. A draw, there are scenarios for that. We'll get into that as we go throughout the evening. But a win is the simplest path to getting a top 4 spot in East and a home playoff game for a team that is making the playoffs for just the 2nd time in club history and first since 2020. Chris, what are you watching for here tonight?
I think the main thing is going to be the mentality of both teams in this group. It was interesting to listen to Damian Lass talking about the last time these two teams met and how there's a sour taste in their mouth. And you may be surprised by that, given the season that Louisville have had. Lost one game all season, more than 15 points clear at the top, guaranteed to host at home in the playoffs. You think that maybe they're approaching this game with a maybe more relaxed mindset, but he still had a bee in his bonnet from the last time they played against Hartford, and is out to settle the score tonight. So expect it to be a pretty tasty affair, given the players that have that mentality in the back of their minds.
That matchup you referred to, Lou City took the 1-0 lead in the 39th minute. Obalola picked up a red card, his 2nd yellow of the match in the 65th, but it didn't prevent Hartford from coming back and leveling the terms in the 88th minute. Kyle Edwards, one of his 12 goals for the season, equalized, and the team split the points back in May. These two teams have been excellent since June. Of course, Louisville all season long, but these are the top 2 teams in the league since June 14th in terms of points. Lou City 45 and Hartford with 38 points since June 14th after just 6 points through the first 11 matches of the year. Things have changed massively for this Hartford Athletic side, including winning the Jägermeister Cup.
Yeah, you can also see Louisville's shape when they're out of possession of the ball. It almost becomes a 5-2-3 and it's extremely fluid. It goes from 5-2-3 to 5-2-2. There's so much fluidity in the way that they defend and press when they're out of shape, and I think that's obviously had a huge impact on having 7 clean sheets in their past 9 games, which was something that Danny Cruz has wanted to get the team doing since earlier in the season, and now going towards the playoffs, they've managed to pick up the momentum and the confidence in the ability to keep clean sheets at the right time. So there's so many key performance markers in favor of Louisville going on and doing everything this season in terms of goals scored, the goal differential, their ability to keep clean sheets now going into the final stages of the season. Everything seems to be going in their trend in terms of the markers that you would use of whether they can go ahead and do the double and win the championship shield along with the playoffs.
Turning the corner here for a moment. Adam Shields. Loss comes out to pick it up. To learn more about how Commonwealth Credit Union can help you meet your financial goals, visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com.
I think on top of that also, Danny Cruz is a winner. You know, when you talk to him, of course he's going to say a lot of the right things, but if there's a record to be broken, he's not going to take it easy on the game just to keep bodies healthy going into the next game. He wants to keep the momentum, he wants to keep the mindset, the mentality, he wants to break all the records that he can. I think that is the driving force of why they're having so much success, because that winning mentality and that winning approach to every moment, every game is the driving force to their consistency this season.
He told us that his goal at the end of the season, it's a costume night here, so if you do see the fan shots, cutaways throughout the match, they are celebrating Halloween a few days early, with fans being able to wear Halloween costumes here this evening. But Danny Cruz said that winning the Shield, no doubt something to be proud of, but felt like last year maybe got a little complacent at the end of the season because they won the Shield, they had a couple games, he wanted to rest everybody, be a little bit more protective. This year he doesn't want them to break that rhythm and flow of the game and lose that at the end of the season. So that's why you see a lot of the consistent players still on the pitch starting here at the end of the year, despite the fact that Lou City really have nothing to play for other than some historical nuggets.
Yeah, I think he's 100% accurate. I think one of the downfalls has always been that if you finish high up, you get that week break that almost killed the momentum. So you'd go 2 weeks out playing the game and then you're going into the knockout competitions. I think having that consistency where players still have that rhythm, they still have that confidence, they still have that chemistry week after week, day after day, is important to go ahead and win. The reward for the success is that you get the break, but the break can kill your momentum and take away the chemistry from the team, and then you're a little bit rusty when you go back into those games. So I think having that mentality, that approach and that focus is the right approach from Danny Cruz. I know that he wants to keep bodies healthy, but to win games, to win championships, you know, you just have to maintain that approach. And I think the squad has enough depth in it right now and enough healthy bodies that even if things were not to go that way from an injury standpoint, they still have enough bodies where they can cover and still be successful.
It's a wealth of riches up and down the table of the board available tonight for Danny Cruz. Meanwhile, for Hartford, second playoff appearance in club history. It started in 2019 in the USL. When they made it back in 2020, they took on St. Louis in the conference quarterfinals. It was 0-0 until the 93rd minute, and Joaquin Rivas eliminated Hartford Athletic. It's a fan base that has been eager to get back to the postseason. Serrano was looking for Goodrum. Fine interception to sweep the ball away. The foul gets whistled as Arturo Dispe was the man that steps in front. And there is a look at Danny Cruz sporting a fresh cut here this evening. The reigning USL Championship Coach of the Year, the fastest man to get to 100 wins in the championship. We'll be keeping our eyes peeled on action around the rest of the USL. Pittsburgh and Phoenix Rising, 37th minute of that game. Scoreless there. That means good things perhaps for Brendan Burke's side, the Jägermeister Cup champion. Of course, Hartford, a win tonight, simplest way to do it. Otherwise, a draw or loss against Phoenix Rising for the Hounds, and then a draw for Hartford would get them a top 4 spot in the league. Tampa Bay and Detroit have also kicked off that scoreless. That potentially could be an opponent for Lou City in the postseason. Given away in the middle of the park. Galena rolls it over, but not quite far enough. Stepping up to take it, McFadden rolls it for Goodrum. Goodrum defended well by Sebastian Anderson. Advantage played. Here's Adams. Back with the captain's armband after missing last week. Amadou Dia. Lambert and Adams. Lou City coming off of a 0-0 draw at Orange County, while for Hartford, it was a setback in Tampa, 3-2. Up and over the top this one goes. Not the most decisive of initial clearances, but Deesbank aids the cause.
It was really interesting to hear Brendan Burke talk about the chemistry and cohesion in this Hartford group. He talks about the length of his career, and only twice so far in his career he felt like he's had a group that are as cohesive and have the chemistry that this group have. He talks about it being something special, and often when teams have that special kind of intangible quality, they can be the ones that have a lot of success. It's not necessarily, well, the postseason success. It's not necessarily the rankings or the stats. That intangible of being very tight, having good chemistry as a team, and the battle to compete and win together, which they've shown a number of times, and especially in the second half of the season, is really a strong force that can carry them to success. It's going to be interesting to see how far that special chemistry that Burke talks about is able to take this group.
Did you notice that as a player with any of the teams that you played for, the chemistry being a nice catalyst for your group?
I think there's catch-22. Things can be so competitive that sometimes you don't acknowledge that chemistry until the moment's over. I think all the times that we've had success, it's been a balance of chemistry. It's been a balance of people being very good at their roles and responsibilities in the group, and obviously there's a little bit of luck that always comes into the equation when it comes to being successful. But definitely having everybody on the same mindset when they cross across that white line, off the locker room and in and outside the locker room or outside the training, you can be yourself, which means not everybody else. Everybody gets along all the time, but when you cross that line and you all have the same drive, the same purpose, the same goal, and a collective mentality, that's when special things happen.
Header out here from Samaria. Hartford had given up 6 goals in the opening 10 minutes of matches this season, but not one here as Lou City gets set up with its first Wi-Fi corner kick of the match. And Taylor Davila heads over there. There's a 3-way tie for number 1 in the Golden Playmaker race. Torres, Quinn, Avayevu, each with 10. Davila right behind, he has 9. Davila touches this one across. First header out, Serrano waits, volleys. Back line provides a shield to get it away. One man back in Galina, punched away by Dia. Galina shields, turns, sees nothing but a sea of purple, with the exception of Carriaga. Anderson lines it up, hooks it around. Galina is offside as that ball hit him, I think in the left shoulder or maybe in the chest on the left-hand side.
Yeah, Louisville just had to be a little bit careful if they want to protect that streak of clean sheets that they have on that break there. And Galina's up against Dia 1v1. It takes a last-ditch sliding tackle from Dia to slow down on Galina when he's about to drive through on goal. So they want to make sure there's not going to be too many instances where they're 1v1 at the back against a striker in hot form right now.
With soccer season right in the thick of things, SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of Lou City. Get all your Lou City tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site, SeatGeek. Your ticket to great seats. Of course, the path to a championship runs through this building. #1 overall seed in the USL playoffs. And as you mentioned, 4 consecutive clean sheets for Lou City. They haven't had a run of 5 straight since 2016. Damian Loss, 9 clean sheets for the year. Danny Fondes has 3 of them. For a team that is second in the league in goal scoring and is first in the league in goals allowed. A foul whistled here and a free kick now for Lou City.
And of course, Lass was very complimentary of the defensive line in front of him for allowing him to have the success he's had in goal so far this season.
Here's Goodrum. He's always in the thick of things. This time around, pumping into Emmanuel Zamaria. And we have our first 5th-3rd free kick of the match for the boys in purple. Let's look at John Berner making just his 3rd start of the season here tonight. But a very experienced keeper, 34-year-old, grew up in St. Louis and has bounced around both MLS and the USL. Davila sets. Davila slingshots it in. Jones was the closest target initially inside of the box. Adams nearly got a piece, but in the end, nobody touches it as it goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, they'll be killing themselves. Nobody's got the end of that. And Davila, humble guy, but he's probably frustrated he doesn't have an assist. What an absolutely beautiful delivered ball. Sometimes those ones bounce and find their way into the back of the net with nobody touching, but as a striker or as a winger or forward, you can't ask for much better delivery service than that.
All told, entering the night, Louisville 15 in a row unbeaten. They haven't lost a match in 128 days. You have to go all the way back to June the last time it happened. Meanwhile, for Hartford, 12 wins out of their last 18 matches. Goodrum leaps, gets a piece. Serrano watches it bounce down. And it's carried on here by Jansen Wilson for a moment. Edwards chips it up the field. Tosh, Adams, Jones, this trio in the back. So difficult to carve out space against.
Yeah, especially in the air. You've seen the long ball deliveries there and just cleaning everything up in the air. And they also have the ability to get the ball down and play on the floor. There's a balance of being able to do a little bit of everything very well.
Dia angles this forward. It's intercepted, however. Goes only as far as Kyle Adams. Kevin Lambert, oh yeah, that's another experienced Jamaican international there to help provide the resistance in the back.
Jamaica, of course, a team that we could see competing at the World Cup this year, currently in a strong position to qualify once again. 1998 was the last time we saw Jamaica in a World Cup, and looks like we could be seeing them again in 2026.
Fans, if Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City has partnered with Penn Station to give you a free sub with the purchase of another. The offer is valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville area Penn Station location to redeem and say Lou City won at checkout, or use promo code LouBogo25 online. Yeah, to your point, the table right now has Jamaica leading Group B in World Cup qualifying by a point. Curacao, though, not far off the pace, and things will be interesting in a couple weeks when the next couple legs of CONCACAF World Cup qualifying sets up. How about Suriname leading Group A and Honduras over Costa Rica in Group C? And things are quite interesting to see how CONCACAF will play out, as they could have the all-time record for the federation for World Cup qualifying.
The exciting part, we'll be able to see some USL Championship players competing in a World Cup. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to that.
Foul whistled here, and an injury as well will bring the medical staff onto the pitch here in the 17th minute of a scoreless game so far in the regular season finale. Well, how about the year Damian Loss has had, giving up 0.73 goals per match this season. He's 4th in the league in saves, 5th in clean sheets, and one of 4 keepers in the league this year with a goals against average less than 1. He was the MLS Next Pro Goalkeeper of the Year back in 2023. Won the Next Pro Cup title that year with Austin FC, and maybe it's going to be a repeat of that a couple years later here in Louisville when he wins a Golden Glove and perhaps the big trophy at the end of the season.
Yeah, as we mentioned, he gave a lot of credit to the defensive line in front of him tonight. It's Jones and Evans and Tosh, but a number of players who've been in there and maintained this strong defense for Louisville City over the course of the season. And of course, the streak that they're on now, 7 out of 9 games with clean sheets, is nothing to scoff at all. So fantastic accomplishment.
There's another look at that collision between Edwards and Lambert. Kyle Edwards set the record this year with 8 goals as a substitute for the season. Gets the start tonight. His 12 goals for the season puts him tied for 7th on the Golden Boot race. Oakland's Peter Wilson and Charleston's Cal Jennings, 17 goals apiece. And there's a look at Sean Tosh, became the all-time leader in appearances this season. Has played over 24,000 minutes and becomes the first player in league history to hit 300 regular season appearances at age 33. The Northern Illinois products still doing it at a high level here.
Still plenty, and there's still plenty left in him. He's not done yet whatsoever, so see if we get to 350. I'm sure is his next next target.
Some all-time USL Championship legends in the building here tonight. Of course, on the bench tonight you have Cam Lancaster for Lou City and Haji Berry on the bench for Hartford Athletic. And while we look at all of the records, let's take a look at Taylor Davila. 9 assists this year, 1 off the pace there of Juan David Torres, Aiden Quinn, and Hope Abayevu for the Golden Playmaker title. Edwards is up. He's on the sideline on that far side for the moment. So back into play here in the 20th minute. Scoreless so far. Lou City has wrapped up the 1 seed. They await to find out who their opponent will be. And one of the 3, either Detroit City, Indy 11, or Tampa Bay, will be the target there. Meanwhile, Hartford with a win tonight, the easiest way to clinch the top 4 spot in a home playoff match. A draw would do so as well, pending the result against Pittsburgh and Phoenix. That's happening right now and is at halftime 0-0. This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Only 1 shot so far. These are 2 of the top 3 goal scoring teams in the entire league this year. And we've only seen 1 shot through 20 minutes. McFadden rolls it for Wilson. Turns, smashes, blocked away. Galena had a piece of it. Davila slides to his legs. Cariaga picks it up. And possession right back to Hartford. Edwards back on the field right there in the dead center. Anderson springs it forward. Lambert taps it out. Anderson ready to go fast. Anderson tries to thread a needle. It's well handled though by Davila.
Looking for the spaces in front of that back line of 5. Very difficult to penetrate. It's not a small line of 5 whatsoever at all. It's a big line, and the spaces are very tight and compact in between. So there's not much space to play in behind. You see him trying to see if he can find the spaces in between, but Louisville making it extremely difficult for the offensive players for Hartford to be able to possess the ball in the attacking third.
This is game number 30 of the season tonight for Louisville. They've only allowed 2 goals 3 times all year. They've never allowed more than that at any point this season.
And I think you're also seeing a collective approach towards being a little bit more defensive minded. You're seeing players quickly, when they lose possession of the ball, getting the defensive shape as quick as possible, being very difficult and hard to break down. And I think you can see it's a shift maybe in the approach, most certainly than the approach they have in previous years. Definitely a shift towards the latter stages of this season, where the focus has become more about keeping clean sheets. Has it taken away a little bit offensively? The last game was a tie. This game, as we've spoken, only 1 shot. And maybe that's a little bit inconsistent with the offensive displays that we're used to seeing from Louisville. But still very early in this game. And I think going into the knockout phases, we know goals win games. Historically, defense wins championships. And having one eye on that championship, I think they're using this as a rehearsal to see how defensively solid they can maintain themselves going into those knockoff games. Because again, I envision that the approach to the game will change once they get into the playoffs and it's all or nothing. But it's a great opportunity to rehearse how they can go about continuing to keep clean sheets and build that confidence as a team also.
Well, that was no doubt the question that was brought up day number 1 for this Louisville City side. Lambert goes down. A foul is whistled against Hartford. If you look back at last year, Louisville was so good at scoring goals, but they gave up 43 of them. That puts them almost dead center of the pack for most goals given up in the league last year. Now they're the best. They've given up 7 fewer than anybody else in the league. And Danny Cruz said, I was tired of having to win games 4-3 or 5-3. Love scoring goals, but defensively we had to be a little bit more solid and more stingy. And that's what ultimately led to their exit against Rhode Island. And this year they took that under advisement. They've been much stronger. They still are second in the league in terms of goals scored, but they're much better defensively, and they're much more willing to win games 2-0 versus having to outscore a team.
Yeah, I think on goal differential, they're clear by almost 23 goals. I think the next team challenging in goal differential. But even if you look at the mindset of players, sometimes the team will win and the offensive players or the strikers will be upset because they didn't score in that game. It's just the mindset that you have as an elite performer. You want to contribute, you want to do what you're paid to do. Defenders have that same mentality. If your team wins and you cough up a goal and you win 4-1, more often than not, you'll see the body language of the defenders is still pretty disappointed because they conceded their clean sheet, especially goalkeepers. Not just the bonuses that obviously are assigned to keeping clean sheets, but just that internal gut feeling. You leave the field almost feeling like you've lost because you gave up the opportunity to keep a clean sheet. And I've been in locker rooms where you're thinking everything's happy and you won 4-1, and the manager or the assistant coach comes in raging because you coughed up a goal in the dying phase of the game and no longer had the clean sheet, because they know that in the knockout phases that can be the big difference between winning and losing, and having that mentality where you can win and not concede goals is far more valuable than just winning and allowing the other team to have opportunities and score on you.
Hartford was asking for a foul on Lambert there. Instead, it's a throw. Jones's long toss headed aside. And this time it is a foul, but it's on Hartford, and it's a free kick coming up here as Junior Morera is the man guilty of this foul against Ray Serrano. Danny Cruz knew that this match would be aggressive and physical here tonight, and it's lived up to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say malicious, but definitely a little bit late. It clips his ankles there.
Fifth third free kick coming up. Jansen Wilson gets this opportunity. Jansen Wilson wallops. Off of one head, trickles across. Burner dives to his left and stymies.
It's a good save there from Burner, because there's a lot of bodies in front of him, and sometimes goalkeepers get their vision blocked and unable to get a good sight on the ball, but he manages to do well, keep his eyes on the ball, adjusts well and claims it and keeps possession of it cleanly for his team.
Hit McFadden's head on its way through. First time Burner's had a question asked of him. Now we're starting to see the Shield winners flex their muscles a little bit as they continue to dominate this side of the field. Josh Jones has that skill with a long throw, but so far hasn't been able to find his target. Use the towel to wipe things off and get a good grip of this. Friendly confines helping out Jones here. Jones launches. This more higher arcing. Bounces down. Slips through McFadden. Serrano's wide open in the middle of the field, but the ball goes back in. Headed off of a Hartford defender and out for a corner.
That throw in from Jones definitely becomes an additional offensive weapon going into the latter stages and into the playoffs for sure. The trajectory that he's able to deliver that ball in from a throw-in, it might be even more accurate than a corner kick. With a corner kick, obviously, you're delivering into areas, but with the hand, you can be a little bit more accurate, and he has a fantastic long throw there, Jones, that can be a tremendous asset to his team, especially when you look at some of the sizes of the players able to attack the ball. Tosh, Adams, Lambert, number of players who have very good aerial ability.
A 5-5 corner here for Jansen Wilson. 6 assists for the season. Wilson boomerangs across. Burner punches it to the sky. Dia gets another go at it. Goodrum tries to shield, flicks it back on, but out, and a goal kick.
Good goalkeeping there from Burner. Keeps his eyes on it. Good connection on the fists and punches the ball away from danger.
Get ready for all the exciting postseason action as the USL playoffs presented by Terminex kick off in November. The top teams will battle it out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLChampionship.com for all the latest playoff information.
Siaha is on the bench tonight, and obviously he was a big part of when things started to turn around for Hartford. Those local derbies against Rhode Island. I believe this fixture itself, the last time they met. Big character, Siaha. You saw some of his celebrations.
Certainly something that is sticking in the minds of some of these Louisville City players. Another long throw coming here for Josh Jones. He's had a couple low liners. The last one was high in the air. What does he elect to do this time around? Jones spins it in towards the middle of the 6. Touchdown. Serrano takes a whack that flies into the seats.
You know the trajectory on the throw is good when it keeps the goalkeeper rooted to his line. If it's a poor throw and it's too far in the air, the goalkeeper knows he's going to have the leverage to come out and get it. But you can see it's fairly flat, so he's not going to come rushing off his line. And it's actually a good height for both the attackers and the defenders to be able to get good connection on it. But it's actually good to see Danny Cruz sticking to things that are effective rather than more so things that just look good. In today's game where everybody wants to put it down and make 15 passes, maybe people turn their noses up at the opportunity to put in a long throw and think it's not aesthetically pleasing. But if you can put the ball into dangerous areas and you have a weapon like that with Jones, why wouldn't you use it? Not every team has a player. In fact, very few teams have a player with the capability to deliver a throw in like that. So I think Danny Cruz just sticking to what is efficient, what's effective, and not getting carried away with just being aesthetically pleasing.
Handball on Serrano, free kick Hartford. Half hour in the books in this one. 11th all-time meeting. Lou City 6 wins, 3 draws in the first 9. They were unbeaten in the opening 9 matches in this series before a 2-1 Hartford win on the home pitch back in August of 2024. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and our team with you here this evening in the regular season finale. Hartford trying to get a top 4 spot in a home playoff match. A win would be the easiest way to do it. Off of the restart, this ball flings across. Deespe gets the head on it, but it skips off of a Lou City player and out. And it is the first corner of the match for Hartford.
It's a good delivery. Deespe actually gets up early, and you feel like he has the advantage here to get his head up on target, but I think he just takes his eye off it, and I think it actually comes off his shoulder. Nope, it's good defending there from Adams in the end, actually heads it out of play.
So a corner kick here for Hartford. Emmanuel Samadia, who leads the team with 5 assists this season, whips it across. Jones slings the first header away. Carriaga recycles back for Burner to start here from the back for Hartford. Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Kyle Adams will come forward now to take this throw. Not normally one that takes a look at possession numbers, but right now it's 58% possession for Lou City. Why is that important? Because this year, when Lou City has less than 50% of the possession, they have 19 wins and 2 draws. They're very much the team that would prefer the opponent to control possession and to be more efficient in their attack. But Hartford right now is allowing Lou City to control the ball.
Yeah, and again, I think it comes back to the approach that Danny Cruz is all about effectiveness and efficiency more so than what looks good. You can have 80% possession and lose the game. I think they accomplished that. I think maybe earlier in the season there was a game where they played Loudoun. Loudoun may have had 70 or 80% possession and Louisville won the game 4-0. So which team would you rather be at a professional? if you're coaching in the youth levels and you're developing players, maybe, but even then, what's the point in having 80% possession and you end up with a loss at the end of the game? So I think Danny Cruz is all about what's efficient and works for the groups of players that he has. He's happy when his team has 40%, 45% possession. He doesn't want to be 60%. He likes it when he can win possession, they can counter-attack quickly, and they can finish the plays. And sometimes allowing the other team to have possession, allowing them to build it and be a little bit higher up the field allows you to have that space behind that you can exploit.
Samania is called for a foul here just as he was turning the corner on clearing that ball away. The assistant referee on that side wasn't putting the flag up. Instead, it's our center referee that blows the whistle and sets up a 5th-3rd free kick here for Lou City. Lou City have had chances on corner kicks and free kicks. Hartford have erased every chance so far. Taylor Davila lines it up. The former Cal Bear. Davila rifles it across. Burner, sure-handed catch.
Good positioning again from Burner here. Makes it look fairly easy. Again, it's not an easy delivery to do with at all. Davila whips it in, and any kind of connection or glance from any of his teammates, and it's rediverted into the back of the net. But Burner, some very good goalkeepers so far in this game, making some difficult saves look very easy.
It is still scoreless in that Tampa Bay-Detroit matchup. Could be one of the opponents that Lou City hosts here next weekend. For the first defender, off of the second, knocked down. And now Lambert turns away from Morera. Just whips it all the way through the field and down towards the other end.
Neither team really looking at excessively threatening in the attacking third tonight. It's been very quiet from Angelina, Edwards, Morera. We've not mentioned any three of their names too often. Same Wilson, Goodrum, Serrano. It's been a fairly quiet evening so far for the strikers.
Anderson begins the charge. Lays it back. Carriaga. Deespec. Hartford wants this right side of the field. Turn from Morera. Opens up a little bit of real estate. Serrano does well to get his foot up to halt that charge. eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download it now.
We're not crazy people. I'll give you a statistic to reinforce what we have been discussing that we've seen this opening half. So far, touches inside of the opposite in the box for both teams is just one. So Louisville City have only had one touch in Hartford's box. Hartford have only had one touch in Louisville's box. So as we spoke about, offensively, it's not been a heavyweight boxing match, so to speak, end-to-end action so far in this game. It's a little bit cagey, the majority of possession has been defenses, moving the ball side to side. A few touches through the middle of the field, but it's a little bit of a cagey affair so far. Neither team really risking things, but maybe consistent with Louisville's approach and mindset of being defensively solid and not allowing many goal-scoring opportunities. If the conversation before the game was, hey, let's be as defensively concrete as we can, continue to focus on that objective.
McFadden throws it in. Goodrum denied the first time. He will not be denied the second. Lou City's top scorer bags his 13th and puts the boys in purple in front 1-0.
Okay, so maybe objective achieved. If the goal is to not allow the opponents to have many touches in your box and be as clinical and deadly as you can with this on the counter-attack. Just the second touch that Louisville City have had in the attacking box so far in these opening 40 minutes, and it converts into a goal. As I said to you, you need skill, you need quality, but you also need a little bit of luck, and this is where Goodrum's hard work provides himself a little bit of luck. The first strike on the ball, the first touch on the ball isn't as clean, but it rebounds, ricochets off the post. He stays with the play, follows it up and finishes into the back of the net. Louisville have the 1-goal lead.
Philip Goodrum did not score in any of his first 6 appearances this year, but since May, he now has 13. And one of the top goal scorers in the USL puts Louisville out in front 1-0 and on pace to set the all-time single-season points per match record. They need a win tonight to break Orlando City's all-time mark. Here's a cutback. Davla takes a touch, takes another, lays it off. Serrano smashes. Excellent slide away by Dispe, and well handled on the second ball as well. But Lou City gaining confidence, have a corner here, leading 1-0.
Yeah, I think just before the goal we were talking about how Louisville City had just had one touch inside in Hartford's box in the opening 37 minutes. And then there you go, bang, bang. The next touch inside the box is a goal, and then the momentum changes, and now they're putting the pressure on and getting many touches inside the box. That number's quickly changed from Louisville City have now had 5 touches inside of Hartford's box. Hartford have had just 2 touches inside the Louisville's box.
Wilson across, Adams redirects, but on top of the netting. Well, Louisville have avoided defeat in 26 consecutive matches when scoring first. The last time they lost was that meeting against Hartford back in August of 2024. That would be a 2-1 Hartford win. The goal scored on that night was Goodrum in the 39th minute. The goal scored tonight, Goodrum in the 39th minute.
So, got some more stats for you. Hartford in 41 minutes so far in this game, 0 shots on target, 0 shots inside the box. You can understand why they've got 0 goals so far in 41 minutes. So, as we spoke about, if Hartford are on the front foot, they take matters into their own hands, they go after the win. They control their destiny of being able to host that home game. However, you could give Louisville extremely good credit for the way they defended, or you could say Hartford haven't been offensive-minded enough to create goal-scoring opportunities, hence they've had 0 shots on target. And if that's the approach to the game, then it's very difficult to go about winning and putting matters into your own hands in terms of being able to host that home playoff game. So it's going to be interesting now that they're down a goal to see if they come out in the second half, guns blazing, and really go after it and see if they can go ahead and do something that we spoke about hasn't been done too many times this year. Can they beat Louisville City? Especially be able to beat Louisville City at home. And I actually don't think it's a bad approach to have, because you're already in the playoffs. If you're going to win the playoffs, at some point you're going to have to beat these guys again. You're going to have to beat the top teams. You're going to have to find a way to win. So what better way to rehearse having that success than to go up against the best tonight and try to find a way to win? I don't think 45 minutes without having a shot on target is the best approach in terms of getting that done.
And to your point, with this result, Pittsburgh has now moved into the top 4. We get a whistle, a foul, and our first card as well of the match.
I think if there was 2 words you could use to describe Louisville City this season, it would be efficient and consistent. It's not, as you mentioned, possession. It's not always been spectacular, but week after week, game after game, even on the days where they perform badly, they still pick up 3 points. It's been efficient and consistent over the duration of the season. And those two words alone have allowed them to break records, to be where they are at the top of the standings with a significant margin from Charleston, who were neck and neck with them at one point in time. They put significant distance between themselves and the second place team. And to continue building confidence towards the playoffs to the point where they can restrict teams to having 0 shots. And Hartford, we highlighted Galena and the form that they've been on in the second half of the season. They're not a poor team that you can turn around and say, you expect them to get no shots against Louisville. No, it's actually very good defending for them to be able to hold Hartford to 0 shots in the whole of 45 minutes.
Sebastian Anderson was the one that was booked. Yellow card brought to you by Bone Dry Roofing. Free kick goes out for a Lou City corner brought to you by Wi-Fi. And Taylor Davila heads over towards the corner flag to get there. Well, as it sits right now, Hartford have dropped to number 5 on the Eastern Conference table, and it would be Pittsburgh hosting a playoff match as the number 4 seed. They would be hosting Hartford. Here's this cross in from Davila. First header down. Davila detonates it across. It bounces off of a body and trickles out. And 5 different Lou City players are appealing for a handball, but there is no VAR in USL.
You could appeal for handball, but I think this ball should be... Look, Davila's service again, sorry, not even Uber delivers that clean. This should be in the back of the net. He doesn't need to take a touch. Dia just hit it on target. I'm not even sure the second shot that he has here, I'm not sure this is even going in the back of the net. It goes across goal. There is connection somewhere, but Davila's service here has been phenomenal. I think he can feel hard done by his teammates if he doesn't break that record or if he doesn't finish top of the assists, because he's given the service required to be able to do that.
3 minutes of stoppage time presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airports.
I think Davila will be having a couple of words with his teammates at halftime to say, come on, do me a favor, I'm providing the service for you guys. Help me break the records too. Put it in the back of the net.
Carriaga gathers, lines up the left-hand side. Cross, nothing but purple shirts right there. Goodrum gathers it, touches it forward. Couple more minutes to go here in this first half. Lou City lead 1-0 on the Goodrum goal in the 39th minute. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and her team with you here this evening. Lou City is the number 1 seed. They await their opponent. 3 teams vying for that final spot in the East. Meanwhile, Hartford, they could host a home playoff match. A win would be the easiest way. A draw would also take care of business, but they would need Pittsburgh to finish as a draw, and that match has 33 minutes to go against Phoenix, 0-0 in Pittsburgh.
All right, a trivia question for you. Ready for it?
Let's hear it.
What are the expected goals for Hartford in this game so far?
Well, I don't know if they've had a shot, so it can't be high.
Give me a number.
0.
Correct.
It's hard to score if you don't shoot.
Expected goals 0. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I'm not such a stats guy, but I do look over sometimes to look at it. But I've seen 0.01. I've seen 0.2. I don't think I've ever seen it just at flat 0.
0 shots from Hartford. They're number 3 in the league in goals this year. 48 of them for the season. But they have been shut out 8 times, so it has been prosperous. At times, it has also been a famine at times for this goal-scoring attack. A foul whistled off of Loss's goal kick. Edwards and Lambert exchange high fives.
It'd been interesting to see if there are any changes to the approach in the second half from Hartford, because not just the result or the performance, this is the momentum and the energy that you're going to be carrying forward into your playoff games. And I don't think you want to going to your playoff games.
McFadden pushes that one across. Knocked away. Wilson recycles. Davila. Wilson. Tosh launches it across. Dia heads it down, but he's called for the foul.
Yeah, as Danny Cruz alluded, the rhythm and momentum going into the playoffs is important. And I'm not sure Hartford would want to carry the rhythm and momentum from this opening half into the playoffs. It's going to be important for them, not necessarily for this fixture alone, but for their future games, to make sure that they come out in the second half fighting, competing, battling, defensively more concrete, creating goal-scoring opportunities and making more of a contest of this game. Towards the end of the first half, it became a little bit one-sided in Louisville, taking the game by the horns. Hartford need to react in the second half.
That is the current standing situation. Pittsburgh would be the team that would host a home playoff match. Hartford would be traveling to Pittsburgh. Pending the result here tonight, 45 minutes down, and Louisville City have the 1-0 edge as Hartford fail to score or to take a shot in the opening 45 minutes of play. We'll step out for a break and cap things around the USL when we come back here to Louisville in just a moment.
You ready to lose?
Oh, you wish. Let's go.
It's time to power up your old checking account. That's why Commonwealth Credit Union created Power Checking. This incredible all-in-one account powers your spending and with built-in high-yield savings, grows your balance at the same time. No minimums, no limits, just unparalleled benefits.
Best 2 out of 3.
Let's go.
Get to the next level with Power Checking, only from Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
I had to watch my sister lay on that ground and take her last breath.
Louisville's youth are caught in a devastating crisis. Dozens killed, hundreds more shot. Gun violence where victims and the shooters are kids.
Every day you have to live life without your child. That's not fair.
This Thursday at 7, watch a raw, unfiltered conversation with people from the streets, the courts, and those who lost everything. As WDRB goes beyond the bullets to find what's fueling the bloodshed and how to stop it.
Hello, I'm here to remind you to tune into WDRB Mornings, Monday till 10, for your out-the-door local news, weather, and traffic.
Chris Suter on WDRB Mornings. Local news, weather, and traffic each weekday morning, bright and early from 5 till 10.
The NFL on Fox. Bengals.
What a play!
Browns.
Touchdown!
Bengals football is back. Starts at 1 o'clock Sunday on WDRB Fox.
This time of year, it's all or nothing. And your Toyota dealer has all you need to pull you through the rain, snow, and mud that's headed our way, including more all-wheel drive choices, like the family favorite Toyota Highlander or the bigger, more powerful Grand Highlander. Both are built right here in the USA. Now, get a new 25 Highlander or Grand Highlander with 4.75 APR financing. Get all you need at your Toyota dealer now. Toyota, let's go places.
A late first half goal has Louisville out in front of Hartford 1-0 in the regular season finale. And to tie a bow on the year, Louisville had its team photo day. Arturo Ordóñez walks you through the day in Louisville.
Look at my guy, Ray. He's wearing a hat for the picture. Okay, Steve Ford. Let's see the look at those clips. Yeah, Ballon d'Or. No, Golden Boot. Golden Boot, not Phil. Golden Boot for. Look at Zach. Zach's ready.
Yeah.
Hey, they mic me up. Give me some ideas. So what should I say? Look at Isaac. Look at Isaac. He dressed up after 6 months.
Just make fun of everyone. Hey, bro. Just make fun. Just start making fun of everyone.
Of who? Of Manny's cleats?
Everyone.
Look at Manny's cleats.
Everyone's cleats.
Well, look at how I look, bro.
I know. Pull them up.
Yeah, I look like an idiot. Oh, I'm row 3. Hey, go back. I'm row 3. Bro, Davy is with the top people?
You're not there.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm mic'd up. Watch out. I'm mic'd up, bro. Yeah, I'm mic'd up, bro.
Where's mic'd up for?
I don't know, bro. Watch out, Danny. I'm mic'd up.
Appreciate that. Good heads up.
Yeah.
All of it is unusable.
Yeah. Yo, Benji's hair looks good.
Benji?
Yeah, he looks good.
Wow, Benjamin. Fun for wearing those stinky boots. Oh my.
Oh my God, bro. That's crazy. I don't speak English. Damian.
Bro.
Hey, bro, throw me the frisbee.
Still mic'd up?
Yeah, I'm still mic'd
So
up.
I can't be myself.
No, you can say. Okay, let's watch Damian's goal kicks. Let's see if he can actually kick a ball. He can kick a. Yeah, but okay, he kicks better the football than a soccer ball. So okay, let's see. Come. Hey, what do you think about Isaac's mustache? Okay, let's take.
Don't be embarrassed now.
Don't be embarrassed. You like it or not? Okay, let's do a poll like for people to like vote. Do we like? Yeah, in comment section. Do we like Isaac's like little whatever that is called and mustache? Yes or no?
What about yours though?
Yeah. Mine's f***ed up. What are those guys doing? Yeah, what are those guys doing? That's crazy. Yeah, I'm done.
The final week of the USL Championship regular season is upon us. Will the real Western Conference playoff contenders please stand up? Who's going to make a run for the title in the East? And we roll out the red carpet for one of the best that has ever graced his presence in USL Championship play. Rodrigo Lopez calls it quits at the end of this season.
Today we went to the beach and it was totally worth it. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kind of everything. Get double points this fall at Best Western.
A pivotal victory! And booking a spot in the playoffs for the first time.
This time of year, it's all or nothing. And your Toyota dealer has all you need to pull you through the rain, snow, and mud that's headed our way, including more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the adventurous Toyota RAV4. It's been America's best-selling SUV for the past 8 years. Now with 4.75 APR financing. Or lease a new 25 RAV4 from just $309 a month. Get all you need at your Toyota dealer now. Toyota, let's go places.
We welcome you back here to Louisville, Kentucky, as the fans celebrating Halloween a week early with their best costumes here this evening. Time to take a look at the news and the notes as Lou City leads 1-0 at halftime, and 5 playoff spots still up for grabs entering the final night. And you take a look at the pole position for the Golden Races. Peter Wilson now has company with Cal Jennings, as Cal Jennings has scored this evening. Meanwhile, Damian Loss leading the charge for the Golden Glove race, and a former U.S. men's national team great, Brian McBride, has joined the Gainbridge Super League and now the USL Championship in Brooklyn FC as the club's new general manager. Here scores from around the rest of the league. It's Jennings' goal in the 55th minute that propels Charleston out in front of Birmingham 2-1. North Carolina sees Olex Anderson score in the 58th minute. That proves to be a 1-0 North Carolina victory. So Loudoun not able to host. North Carolina still has perhaps a bit of a chance, but needs some help. Pittsburgh still scoreless. That match is in the 70th minute right now. Scoreless at halftime between Tampa Bay and Detroit City, and Khalil Ahmedkar scores in the 10th minute to lead FC Tulsa over the Switchbacks. I mentioned Lou City's perhaps path. They won't know until later tonight. Indy 11 traveling to Orange County for a 10 p.m. kickoff this evening. That will be a fascinating one to watch because Orange County is rooting against Colorado Springs with the final couple spots in the Western Conference still on the line for the postseason. So one of three teams could be Lou City's opponent, including that Indy 11 side later on this evening. We're at halftime here in Louisville. 1-0, Lou City out in front at the break. We'll look at the first half highlights and the second half kick come your way next.
At Kroger, you never compromise. Because you get up high quality and down low prices. Up high quality that's guaranteed fresh, and down low prices in every aisle. With quality and savings that keep adding up, Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
This time of year, it's all or nothing. And your Toyota dealers have all you need to pull you through the rain, snow, and mud that's headed our way. Now, during Toyota Truck Month, they've got more all-wheel drive choices like the legendary 4Runner, the world-renowned Land Cruiser, the powerful Tundra, or this best-selling 25 Tacoma, which you can get with 2.99 APR financing, or lease a well-equipped 25 Tacoma for $269 a month. Get your Tacoma now during Toyota Truck Month. Toyota, let's go places.
This is my grandpa's belt. He wore this thing for 30 years.
That's a great belt.
This is my grandpa.
Huh.
You can't buy a belt like this in the big box store because most belts suck. They peel, they tear, they break. I wanted a belt like this one, so I made one. With full grain leather, solid brass hardware, and robust stitching. I can have a belt just like my grandfather's. The Handcrafted Belt by Clayton Crew.
The USL on CBS is presented by Best Western Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel partner of the United Soccer League. A look inside of the Louisville Slugger Museum in Louisville, Kentucky, one of the great sites in the state and one of the great sites in the country for baseball fans. And here, it has been a good sight for these fans watching Lou City, a 1-0 edge at halftime. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse back with you as we look back at the highlights. And this was a bit of a sluggish start to the game. It took a little bit for teams to get into it, but the services have been great for Lou City on
It's one of Goodwin's strengths as a player.
A halftime lead, and now Hartford, no shots in that first half. What do they need to do to get the attack going?
I mean, they've got nothing to lose now. They are where they are in the table. Fifth looks a little bit less glamorous than third place. If they're able to come out and somehow turn this game around, as we mentioned, Louisville haven't lost more than what they've lost just once this whole season, especially being at home. I think they come out guns blazing. They try to take positive momentum, positive energy, and an offensive mindset into the playoffs. For sure, this is not the energy, this is not the moment, this is not the feeling that they're going to want to take into the playoffs, regardless of whether they finish in fifth or in third. So it's going to be, can they finish the season on a strong note rather than what we saw in the first half.
This season, Hartford 1 win, 5 losses, 2 draws when they trail at halftime. And the path to a home playoff match goes through Louisville here tonight. The Shield winners lead 1-0 at halftime. Lou City, on the heels of the Goodrum goal in the 39th minute, have the advantage with 45 more minutes to go. And for Lou City, it could be a night where they set some new records. If they win, they have the most points per game in the history of the league. They would finish with 2.43 ahead of the 2.38 from the 2012 Orlando City team. Here's Wilson. Wilson dribbles in, dodges the first defender, rolls it across. Deespe sends it out. Corner kick on coming here for Lou City, brought to you by Wi-Fi.
Again, it's Davila kick-starting this attack, picks out the ball in the middle and immediately plays it out wide to Wilson. Drives down the flank and tries to deliver the ball into the box. Deespe does well positioned to clear it away from danger.
No subs for either side at halftime, and Taylor Davila heads over to the corner.
Yeah, for Louisville, I think most of these players will play a solid 60, 65 minutes.
This ball headed off of Dia. Deespe blocks it, but concedes another corner from the opposite side of the park.
Then I think after 65 minutes, you'll start to see some pre-planned substitutions where it's about allowing them the time to keep their match momentum, keep their match fitness, keep the rhythm, and then just freshen things up with some fresh legs for the last 30, 35 minutes and keep these players minimizing their risk of injury.
Jansen Wilson readies with this 5-5 corner. Wilson centers into the middle of the box, off of the head of Kyle Edwards, as Josh Jones was the initial target. And a third corner in this early sequence here for Lou City.
I know it's Halloween approaching, but I'm not sure Hartford were looking for that Halloween horror movie in the first half.
Wilson on the third corner of this sequence, fires it in. First ball hit to the sky. Adams nods it back along. Burner punches. Did that ball go out before he got the touch or not? No, he did not. Corner number 4 of this stretch for Lou City. And if you're Hartford, you're flirting with danger.
Yeah, Lou City starting on the front foot, pinning Hartford back with a number of set pieces.
Wilson circles, connects all the way across. Burner somehow steps in front of Tosh in his 300th career game to deny him a goal-scoring chance.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this one actually stays out the back of the net. It's a fantastic delivery again into the box. I'm going to have to see who gets the block on it. But we spoke about Tosh's ability to score from corners and dead ball situations. This time it's at his feet and he's right on the goal line. That's absolutely fantastic from Burner there. Shuffles across the line quickly, makes himself as big as possible. Uses the inside of his thigh to keep it out the back of the net.
Davila connects on another corner kick. It bounces out. Still not out of trouble yet. Carriaga plays it back. Hartford just tries to get it away. Tosh swallows that one up, but it goes out. And the high press of Lou City in fine form that time around.
Yeah, Danny Cruz applauding his team and keeping the pressure in that attacking third for Louisville City.
Can Hartford gain some momentum in this match? No shots in the first half. A foul is whistled here against Lambert on Edwards. Hartford have scored 26 times in the second half. They are as good in late game situations as anybody in this league. 14 goals after the 80th minute. They would likely not want to wait another 30 minutes to get into this, as Lou City's string has reached now 451 consecutive minutes without conceding a goal. Davila's pass forces McFadden to accelerate to keep it in. I'm sure it's not an attacking throw for Hartford.
One of the fewer misplaced pass that Davila's hit. Normally perfection in timing and accuracy in his passing.
This portion of tonight's match is presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Samaria skies it along the field. Tosh nods it away. Goodrum, an excellent touch. Chips it into the path of Wilson. Wilson hooks it around. Burner read it well in front of Serrano, but taking no chances. The clearance from Deesbank.
Good play from Wilson. If you look when he takes his first touch here, you see he lifts his head up and he makes eye contact with Serrano, I think, running at the far post. And Deesbank does well to position himself in between the two and clear it away from danger. But you could see the connection between the two, Serrano and Wilson. Wilson knows Serrano's making the run. They make eye contact. Good defending in the end from Deesbank.
Davila crosses. Hartford defends their 5th corner of the opening 6 minutes, but gives away a throw. Davila hands it off. Serrano measures. McFadden. Tosh. Tosh flies it up top. Lambert with the first touch. Swings the leg. Prestis denies. Serrano back in. Wilson heads the first. McFadden the second. Lou City doing everything right now but touching the twine.
It was great composure from Lambert. The ball comes in and he controls it with his chest. And I think you think he's just going to let it drop and half volley it with his second touch. I think the second touch and then looking for the third touch, the opportunity went away, but fantastic composure there from Lambert initially to bring that ball down. Just lacked the ability to get the shot off in the end.
And then the foul from Galena sets up a third free kick here for Lou City. A team that is unbeaten in its last 15 and has only lost 1 time in 29 matches this season, has the goal edge, and is trending towards adding a second. Davila centers. First ball headed away. Carriaga only as far as Wilson. Pressure continues to amplify. Tosh drags. Lays it for McFadden. McFadden loops it across.
Oh,
Lambert is there.
No.
It hits the right post.
Impossible.
I have no idea how that stays out. Burner had given up on it, and it stays at 1-0.
We thought that it was lucky that Tosh's shot stayed out earlier, but this one is even worse. It's a fantastic delivery. Look, McFadden cuts onto his left foot. In the space in between the fullback is a great run from Lambert on the blind side of the defender. Goodness knows how he managed to tip this one inside the post, and Burner just reacts and managed to keep it out. But there's 2 fantastic opportunities for Louisville in the opening 8 minutes of this first half to potentially be 3-0 up.
Burner had given up. You could see his reaction on the replay. He had stood up and said, that one is in. I've given up on it. But it hits the post. He reacts in time before Lambert. And that is now twice that Lou City have been right there on the doorstep. Goodrum brings this down. Goodrum slows, twists, turns, lays it out for McFadden. McFadden charges, touches it across, just past Wilson, and back out. Davila settles. A purple swarm here. Serrano, Dia guides it back. Adams toe pokes it. Davila with a right foot glides it wide left, and Hartford in the worst of ways right now.
This may be
need
the
a
worst.
breather.
This may be the worst performance, one of the worst performances they've had so far this season. We're expecting a reaction in the second half. Come out and show us something. Show us why you're up there for third place in the playoffs. Why are you competing to have a home playoff position? And nothing. There's been no response at half time. It's actually got worse for them. If you're looking statistically now, Louisville have had 10 shots. Hartford are still to have 1 shot, let alone any shots on target. Like, at some point, they've got to become more competitive in this game. They've got to win the ball. They've got to try and transition. They've got to show us that they have a way of creating goal scoring opportunities. So far, there's been a complete mismatch in talent and teams right now. It's been a complete one-sided affair.
Utter domination in this first 10 minutes from Lou City. Can Hartford right the ship here? Still just a 1-goal match. In Pittsburgh, it's 0-0 against Phoenix with 4 minutes to play. There are 4 positions open in the West. Phoenix is sitting right in the middle of the pack of those teams.
And I think if there's anything, whilst both teams were fairly defensive-minded in the first half, with Louisville becoming a little bit more open-minded towards the end of the first half, they've got another gear where they just turned it up. And it's coming out in the second half. They've turned it up a gear and just relentless in their ability to stretch the field, runs in behind, creating goal-scoring opportunities. You'd say a little unlucky maybe in not converting these goals opportunities, or maybe a little bit more conviction. If you look at Tosh's strike, it's the inside of Berner's thigh that keeps it out of the back of the net. If he hits it with a little bit more conviction, maybe Berner doesn't have a chance. And then if you look at Lambert's, it kind of tickles off his toe and then hits the post. And maybe if he gets a cleaner connection on that, that's also in the back of the net. So the goal scoring opportunities are there. Maybe you're just asking for a little bit more conviction in the players getting on the end of them in terms of converting them.
Louisville this season has scored 30 goals in the second half. The second best goal scoring team in the league. These two teams are excellent out of the locker room. Lou City has lived up to that billing so far. Hartford, anything but. But it's still just a 1-goal match as Berner cranks it down the park.
Yeah, and as we spoke about, you envision to see changes 60, 65 minutes between some of these players. They're going to get rested. So maybe they were right to say, go out there and empty the tank for the next 15 minutes.
Wilson rips it through. Berner is there, and I think you're exactly right. The message for Louisville was, let's go get a second so we can take a break.
Exactly.
Jones picks up this ball. Serrano debates, now lays. Dia right to the middle. Serrano bashes the ball off of a defender and out. Corner kick yet again. We're losing track of how many corners. I don't think the stats can actually keep up with the amount of corners that we've had in the second half. This is number 7 of half 2 alone. A Wi-Fi corner as Jansen Wilson heads over there. Lou City have been denied twice within a yard in this second half. Tosh by Berner, Lambert by the right post.
All right, you want me to go back to my stat attacks?
What you got?
Touches inside the box.
McFadden back out. Wilson loops another ball in. Wilson, all the space in the world on that right-hand side. Evades the first. Wilson whistles! That misses everything in the end and out for a corner, or for a goal kick, rather.
Relentless pressure from Louisville City since this second half has begun. It much more of an entertaining, attacking, fluid style of play that we've been accustomed to seeing with them. Just lacking that killer instinct in the box. Cuts inside, lifts his head up, sees the opportunity to bend it to the far post. It only whistles past the upright. A player that we know has the ability to score goals in a number of different ways. Not far away there whatsoever. But back to my stat attack. And it's probably changed. Let me just make sure it's the most accurate one.
Yeah, you got to refresh the page.
You give me a hard
keep
time.
up with this.
All right, so touches inside the box for Louisville City. 90% of goals are scored from inside the box. So ideally, when you get into the attacking third, you want to get touches in the box to increase your goal scoring opportunities. For Louisville City, they've had 22 touches inside of Hartford's box. For Hartford, they've only had 2 touches inside of Louisville's box. in 60 minutes in a game. Now that is pretty impressive. When you're talking about mentality and not allowing your opponents to have goal scoring opportunities. If you're limiting your opponents to just 2 goals, 2 touches in the box, for sure you're limiting their ability to score goals. So when Danny Cruz dissects this and looks at the defensive performance that they put in so far for 60 minutes of this game, I think he's going to be exceptionally pleased that he was able to snuff them out and snuff Hartford to just having 2 touches inside the box in 60 minutes.
2 changes here for Hartford, brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education. That's the Kentucky Lottery. Owen Prestis and Haji Berry come in. That duo replaces Kyle Edwards. The team's leading goal scorer is off, as well as Junior Morera. But Berry is one of the great goal scorers in the history of this league, 6th all time. He was the 2021 USL Championship Player of the Year as well, and returns after a stint in Egypt. He's tallied 3 assists, but has not scored in his return yet to the States.
I'm not sure if Danny Cruz will like it or not, but Louisville currently sit at 60% possession, which again reinforces the dominance that they're having in this game. So it's not just their ability to keep clean sheets and limit opportunities for the opponents to have shots on goal. They're dominating possession, creating chances, preventing Hartford from having any touches inside the box, let alone shots on goal. And in addition to that, if you want to look at where the majority of Louisville's attacks come from, they've delivered 38 crosses so far in this game. I can't do the math. We're 60 minutes in, 38 crosses. I don't know, but that's a lot of crosses per minute in comparison to Hartford, who just delivered 6 crosses. So you can see that getting the ball wide and delivering crosses is a primary means that Louisville use for creating goal-scoring opportunities. Let me see this.
So 62nd minute here. Lou City 1, Hartford 0. Philip Goodrum's goal in the 39th minute is the difference. Here's what's at stake tonight. Lou City is already the Shield winner, but a win nets them the best points per game in the history of the league. They also would become the 4th team in the USL's history with just 1 loss in a season. The last team to do that was Rochester back in 2015. Conversely for Hartford, a win tonight would clinch a top 4 spot in the East, which would mean a home playoff match. However, Pittsburgh is about 45 seconds away from finishing 0-0 against Phoenix, so that would mean that Pittsburgh would hold that number 4 spot if Hartford loses this match.
All right, it's Halloween, so I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. If you're in Florida, while it may be sunny, it's pretty dark in terms of USL Championship standings. Tampa Bay Rowdies are currently down 1-0 against Detroit, which would eliminate them from any contention of making the playoffs. For Tampa Bay to make the playoffs, they need to win against Detroit, and they need Indy 11 to lose later on tonight. However, with Detroit currently being the lead, obviously Miami FC are not in contention for the playoffs. Looks like both Tampa and Miami will not be in the postseason affairs this season.
And what it would mean for Lou City is it would be Lou City versus Detroit on this field next week, because Detroit would clinch a playoff berth, and we wouldn't even have to think about that Indy 11 Orange County game starting in about an hour. Goodrum quickly turns, bumps off of the first. Prestis knocks the second ball away. And now into a space. It's Berry. Haji Berry. Outside of the box, touches it back. I think this is the first time in the second half that there's been a pass inside of the 18 from Hartford.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you what colour Lass has been wearing tonight, because I've hardly seen him have to. Well, in fact, he hasn't had to make a save. I can't say hardly seen him make a save. He hasn't had to.
Light blue is the color.
And this is why he gives so much credit to his defensive line. Oh, that's not a shot. But that's why he's giving so much credit to his defensive line, because he's going to have a great saves record. If he doesn't have to make any saves, he's going to keep clean sheets. He's going to be in line to get those golden gloves. So he's definitely right to give his defense credit, especially for how they performed over the last 10 games. As we spoke about, 7 clean sheets in their last 9. This would potentially become 8 clean sheets in 10 games. That's a pretty phenomenal streak of clean sheets to be on.
It has just gone final. It is a 0-0 draw in Pittsburgh tonight. Manny Perez is coming in. This is the first time that he appears in a match since the 4th of July as he replaces Josh Jones. Brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. That's the Kentucky Lottery. The USL on CBS Sports Network kicks off the championship playoffs presented by Terminex with an Eastern Conference quarterfinal showdown. Second-seeded Charleston Battery will take on whoever the number 7 seed is. Depending on how things finish, as of right now, it is Detroit. That would be the number 7 seed. It could be Rhode Island as well. But that matchup is Sunday, November 2nd at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on the CBS Sports Network. .25 minutes or so left in this matchup. Lambert turns and bashes it off of Hairston. So now it would take just a Hartford draw would be enough for them to clinch a top 4 spot in a home playoff match. And they're still down just 1-0 despite being outshot 14-0 in the game.
I think you really have to give Danny Cruz a lot of credit for this roster that he's assembled. When you look at the mentality, the work rate, and the approach from every player on the field, they all have a similar value. And look at this leadership from Goodwin from the front. His willingness to go and press and close down space and put pressure on defenders and not allow them time and space to pick their head up and play football. And you see that being represented. As much as we talk about Davila's assist abilities, he puts in a very industrious shift in the middle of the park defensively for the team also. Lambert does a lot of the dirty work, cleans up play, breaks up, wins the ball, plays simple. You can see every player on the field is almost a specialist in the role that they play in this team. It's almost like an orchestra where everybody has their own role and responsibility and does it exceptionally well.
That was a really good play by Manny Perez, and then his push to get up the field forces that ball out.
And again, it's having that mentality to come into the game. You didn't start, but come into the game and elevate the players on the pitch. Bring them extra energy, give them extra focus, help them in the 60 minutes. When players do start to get a little bit tired and the minds start to get a little bit fatigued, to have players who can come off the bench and give you that little bit of a push forward.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only source for 24/7 engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Barry, Galena. That switchbacks connection nearly links up here as Loss is out to get it.
It's a little concerning though. If you're a Hartford fan, you're a little concerned at this performance, in all honesty. If you're going into the playoffs with legitimate...
Perez pushes it across. Goodrum just nudges it, but misses the cage.
Just lacking a little bit of conviction in that strike, and that's what we're talking about. It's not the opportunity, just need a little bit of conviction here. Goodrum just needs to wrap his foot around this. And he just guides it past the post. Probably it just lacks a little bit of belief there, if you ask me. He just needs to wrap his hips around it towards the far post, or just drill it with his laces. Opts for a little bit more finesse, and shot goes wide of the target. But as I was mentioning, if you're Hartford, you ought to be a little bit concerned going into the playoffs at the back of this performance. 70 minutes so far without registering a shot on target, or a shot inside the box. If you're serious about going into the playoffs and having aspirations of going all the way, that's not the level of performance that you want to be producing at this stage of the season. And I think rightfully, they've lost that opportunity to have that home game because of this performance. 100%. If you don't register a shot on target, you don't deserve to host a home game, sorry to say.
Serrano chips. Wilson redirects. It's a fine block from Prestis. And now outside of the area here in the 70th minute of play. Lou City 1, Hartford 0. The pressure swarms once more. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and our team with you here tonight. Goodrum taps it. Serrano back for Davila. Davila tips it. Wilson guides it. Perez chips. Goodrum chases. Bounces out. Davila detonates, but slices it off of the head of Sebastian Anderson, and it rolls out wide. All Lou City in half number 2, searching for a second goal.
Yeah, it's actually crazy that the goal margin is still 1. Davila gets a good connection. It was always going wide at the upright. You can already see it. It's already past the post once Anderson is able to get his head on it. But the pressure has all been in favour of Louisville City. I think in order for them to really seal this performance, it really should be a 3-4 goal game. I think they'll walk away from this game disappointed. They'll be happy they kept a clean sheet, but they'll be disappointed that they've not put 3 and 4 into the back of the net and had that goal scoring confidence, multiple goal scoring confidence going into the playoffs. Because I think if they keep a clean sheet, they run over Hartford 5-0, I think is a big statement. Hartford were at the beginning of the night competing, or maybe still competing to be third, to run over the third place team. And I think if you look over the performance, 5-0 is not an unrealistic or an unfair result of what this could or should have been. It leaves them in a fantastic position, sends a big statement to all the rest of the teams going into the playoffs. I was a fan of what they've accomplished so far this season statistically and performance-wise, but I don't think they've taken their foot off the gas whatsoever going into this game. When we thought, maybe they take their foot off the gas, they're resting. Danny Cruz said, if you see a player doing that, you let me know, because he doesn't believe that's in their DNA as a team. And I think it's 100% right when you look at tonight's performance, how the players have done it. And it's been self-driven. It's not a game where he's been on the sideline barking, yelling and shouting. It's actually looked like a game where he's been able to take a step back and just enjoy watching his players perform at their peak.
Louisville, the 2025 USL Championship title runs through Lynn Family Stadium. Lou City will open the playoffs on Saturday, November 2nd, with all of this year's postseason games to be played at home. Tickets are available at loucity.com/playoffs. That's actually Saturday, November 1st, not the 2nd. With 20 minutes to go, can Lou City expand this margin, or will Hartford steal a point and steal a home playoff match?
I'm actually surprised that so many of these Louisville players are still on the pitch. I thought 60-65 would have seen that exodus of substitutions. So Omby on the bench, Morris on the bench, McCabe, Lancaster, the youngster Days. Number of players who could do with just having those minutes to freshen them up. But I think it's a big statement of how serious they're taking this game, how much they want to keep the chemistry and cohesion going, and they want to take this game as seriously as they would any other USL Championship game. So I think the fact that so many of the best 11 or the starting group are still on the pitch at this phase, it's a big statement that Danny Cruz is making.
Here's a wide ball. Cross comes in. Adams knocks it aside. Carriaga had it for a moment, but Serrano shoves it out.
And of course, Danny Cruz spoke a little bit about maybe not celebrating the regular season as much as people thought he would. Well, he definitely values it, 100% values it, and knows it's a special accomplishment. And I always say that it's the biggest accomplishment to win the regular season because it requires consistency over 9 months. You can't get lucky and be the number one. You can hit a patch of form at the end of the season for 3 weeks and forget about the other 8 months when you were not so great. But to be number one, it is a fantastic accomplishment. But he said he wants to ensure that he doesn't display through his leadership any actions or behaviors that allow his team players to get complacent. And he thought by keeping mellow, keeping calm, keeping focused, knowing that there were still more games to play, sends a strong message to the players that now is not the moment for complacency. Yes, we've won the regular season, it's a fantastic accomplishment, but next week we have a game, and our objective is to win the regular season and to win the playoffs. And I think leading from the front with that mentality, that approach, the player's obviously going to look and feed off of the energy and the focus that he brings. And I think him already rechanneling his focus in his momentum and not getting caught in the moment sends a strong focus to the team. And I think that's why you see such a strong performance again today. We could say how inefficient or how bad Hartford have been, but maybe we just need to applaud how well Louisville City have been this season and how well they continue to play this season. Here's
Serrano. Dia. Cannot get past Deesbank. Adams recovers. Davila pushes it over the top, but this one trickles out. Fans, it's time to vote for tonight's Lynn Family Vision Man of the Match. The poll will be open for the next 10 minutes, and you can vote right now on the Lou City app. Prestis punches aside. Eden McFadden. Serrano. Lambert. Perez gives it away. Wilson and Perez providing pressure. And this one will bounce out of play. Well, a couple things to think about here. Lou City, with a win tonight, would set the all-time record for points per match. The prior record in 2012 was Orlando City's. They did so in a 24-match season at 2.38. Lou City's would be 2.43 if they win tonight. But Orlando City lost their only playoff game that season. That was during the year of byes. They got a bye right to the semifinal, and they lost to Wilmington 4-3. So that's the negative side of perhaps a historic coin for Lou City. Perez dodges the opening defender, touches it across. Goodrum can't get there, and it's out. The positive side is the last team to finish with one loss in a regular season was Rochester back in 2015. They did so in a 28-game season, 17 wins, 1 loss, 10 draws. They were 13 points better than anybody else. They ended up winning the championship that year in dramatic fashion in extra time against LA Galaxy 2. Asani Samuels scored the equalizer in the first minute of second half stoppage time and had the winner in the 113th minute that season.
I will give Louisville more credit because, I'll give you the reason because, in 2015, the second division of soccer in US was still very much split with the USL and NASL. And obviously, there's no more NSL. So now you have all of the strongest teams at the second division level competing in one division. So it's a little bit harder now.
Lambert to Goodrum. Goodrum skies it.
It's definitely a little bit harder now than it would have been in 2015 when you had the separation of those leagues and half the good teams in one league and half the good teams in another league. So I think you have to put that also into context when comparing those two seasons for both those teams.
Well, we get a couple changes here, brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery. Fueling imagination, funding education. That's the Kentucky Lottery. And it's Jack Panayiotou that is standing by, the fourth official for Hartford. Meanwhile, for Lou City, it's Brian Ownby replacing Philip Goodrum, and Jake Morris steps in for Amadou Dia.
So another record. We had Mr. 300 earlier with Sean Tosh. This is Mr. 200 for Louisville City, for Brian Obi making his 200th career USL Championship regular season game tonight. Fantastic accomplishments. Players who have so much experience, success in the league, and all under one umbrella, one roof. Imagine you have Obi making 300, 200, you have Tosh making 300, and the records on top that they've been able to have. So you have collective records as a team, and you have individuals breaking records. You know, that's the thing that I highlight about the mentality of this group. To hit 200, 300 games, of course, requires a lot of consistency. Players go through patches where you're in and out of the team. There's moments when you're battling injury. It's not something that you can turn your nose up very easily at all. Fantastic accomplishments for both Ownby and Tosh.
Well, this is when Ownby does his best work, tied for first all-time in postseason goals with 8. But having to defend here, he comes back, blocks the first chance. Galina's opportunity gets pushed aside. Samadia hurls one in. Adams clears.
I'm sure somebody on the sideline told Obi, hey, they haven't had a shot on target
Here's a long shot that misses wide left.
There's a shot. Somebody's told Ownby they're having a shot on target. Don't go into the game and let it be you. Look at the mentality. He's just coming to the game. He's sprinting back, blocking shots on the edge of the box immediately. That's when you know that the team is aligned in terms of their objectives in the game. The players coming off the bench continue the same defensive mentality and focus as the players who started the starting 11. It's really important to make sure those players coming into the game are well intertwined with what the objectives are, and you see that immediately from the actions.
Much better here from Hartford. Prestis bumps off of Morris. The two subs collide, no foul. Panayotou has provided a different layer in the attack with 10 minutes to go.
So I tell you, one area where Danny Cruz will have conversation with his team is that 10 minutes left in the game, and there's still an opportunity for Hartford to be able to come away with a point. And given how one-sided the game has been, that opportunity shouldn't be there. They should have put the 3 and 4 into the back of the net. The game should be signed, sealed, and delivered. But they're approaching the last 10 minutes, and Hartford are still very much in it. Set piece opportunity, free kick, poorly timed tackle, and they could walk away with a point. And going into the playoffs, this is where they got to become more ruthless. They've been ruthless over the course of the year, but at this phase, they got to become as ruthless as they are defensively in the attacking third. And when they get the chances that they've had tonight, they've got to put those to bed.
Barry has that ball pickpocketed, but it slashes down in front of Burner on the other end of the field. 10 more minutes to play in the regular season. Michael Watford, Chris Nurse, and our team guiding you to the finish line of the regular season in the USL Championship. Lou City, the top team in the league, looking to break records tonight of points per game, and just one loss during a season, while Hartford needs a draw at the very least at this point to earn a home playoff match, as they're in the postseason for just the second time in club history and first since 2020.
Yeah, could you imagine Louisville leaving this field with a 1-1 tie? 18 shots in comparison to the opponents who've just won. If they were to leave, it would make you want to vomit as a player if you leave that field and you don't walk away 3 points with the display that they've put on us, specifically in this second half. And that's what I think Danny Cruz is going to hammer down on. Yes, they played well, they performed well, but you don't get trophies, you don't win games for that. You've got to put the ball in the back of the net. You've got to have a little bit more of a ruthless streak. If an opponent gives you the opportunities that they've had tonight, you can't disappoint them. You've got to put them in the back of the net and say thank you very much and move on to the next. They've allowed Hartford to remain in the game just because they've not been clinical in taking those chances that they've created. Very good chances at that, not half chances, very good chances.
And Hartford have scored 14 times after the 80th minute this year, but now forced to defend. Morris bobbles, mashes well out of play.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he was going for goal there or if he was trying to deliver for his teammates. Anybody who tried to put their head on that, I think it was going to come off their shoulders.
Will Hartford be able to make a comeback? They were the last team to beat Lou City when Louisville scored first back in August of last year. The only win ever for Hartford in this fixture.
Yeah, and I think that's where Hartford's minds need to be at right now. All right, we've not played well tonight. Can we still get something out of the game? And then you could take a little positive and continue to build on it. That would be a big dagger if Louisville were to concede a goal. Number one, lose their clean sheet record, and number two.
This ball played back. Wilson angles on into the backside, though, of Joe Farrell. Serrano dodges the first. Ownby collects. Gets past a man. Leaves it. Serrano smashes across. Off the head of Perez. And it trickles aside. And a goal kick coming for Hartford.
Interesting. When Perez challenges for a ball, he kind of runs and turns his back at it when he probably needed to keep his eyes on the ball and attack it and try to guide it back on frame. I thought it maybe came off the defender and went out for a corner kick, but it seems like the last touch came from Perez.
Wilson, it's a break now for Lou City. Ownby angles. Brian Ownby flies. Burner leaps to the sky and pushes it out.
Berner's done well. This is good defending here. Prestus, it's 2 versus 1. He gets across. He puts enough pressure to knock Ownby off balance. And Berner, fantastic save. Pushes it over the crossbar. Combination of the two, but not great defending there from Hartford. They were 2 versus 1 for a moment there. But it was a good defending there from Prestus.
A 5-5
and a great
corner.
save from Berner.
Berner had only played in 3 matches all year. Just 2 starts. But he's come up big tonight. Corner kick in. That ball bounces past Morris. He gets back to it. Guides it along. Ownby rolls it for Lamberts. Not enough to get it through. Galena. McFadden nods it over. Davila.
Great
Wilson.
For Ownby to get himself on the score sheet there with his 200
Calling
Perez.
for the ball. This ball crossed in by Perez.
Another opportunity there for Ownby to get himself on the score sheet. Would be a great way to cap it off.
Serrano throws it in. Ownby heads it aside. Less than 5 minutes plus stoppage time remain. Lou City circling for that second goal. And they'll bring in Niall McCabe to replace Ray Serrano here down the stretch.
Ownby definitely added to the offensive threat since he's come into the game. At least 3 chances since he's coming in the past 10 minutes. But in line with what we've seen consistent tonight from Louisville, they've not been killer in front of the goal. They've lacked that killer instinct to kill the game off and put it to bed.
Substitution brought to you by the Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery. Quick turn from Wilson. Arcs it around. Ownby touches. Guides it into the path here of McCabe. His first touch. McCabe shoots. It rattles off of both Prestus and goes out.
It's just one of those nights tonight for Louisville City. So many chances that should have been back in net. Great pass here from Ownby. Good run from McCabe. I think when he composed himself, he could just cut it back here for Davila or Wilson inside the box. He opts to go alone and turns out to be, again, a great tackle from Prestus at the last second.
It's the 14th corner of the match. Brought to you by Fi-Fi. Jansen Wilson lines it up. Wilson wallops it across. Berner 2 paws it away. Adams off of the first head. Cranked off the body of Galena. Adams, Davila. Deeks the first. Sends it along. It's McCabe. Or check that, Wilson. Crossed over. Perez.
As I said, I don't think Danny Cruz beats him up. I think he just lets them know kindly, we've got to be better in front of goal. We can't get opportunities like that and not finish them off. You've got to be ruthless. You've got to be cold. You've got to be composed. You've got to have that killer instinct in the final third.
Tonight's man of the match is Philip Goodrum for his goal in the 39th minute that continues to hold up as the lone goal in this match. But another corner kick oncoming here, presented by Lynn Family Vision. Philip Goodrum, man of the match for his 13th goal of the season.
Yeah, and you look at the goal that Goodrum scored, it probably wasn't as clean as some of the chances that they had, but a little bit of luck at right place, right time, that tenacious mentality that he has, and he converts it. But there's definitely been a number of better chances, cleaner chances than Goodrum's, but that's the moment that has them winning this game. If it wasn't for that moment right now, it's 0-0.
Davila throws it across. Berner, a clean catch off of a rare set piece that Lou City doesn't connect on. Quickly into transition. Deespe sends it along that right-hand side. Ball ripped off of the first defender. Ownby gathers the ball for Lou City. He gets tackled by Panayiotou, who picks up a yellow card. Cards tonight brought to you by Bone Dry Roofing.
Panayoti just stopping the momentum here of Ownby. Brings him down, allows Hartford now to get 11 players back behind the ball and defend, rather than potentially being exposed on the counter-attack.
Shots are 22-4 here this evening. 15 corners to 1. All in favor of Louisville this evening, but just 1 goal to show for it. And Hartford still giving it a chance. They are the best team in the USL in scoring in stoppage time. They have 8 stoppage time goals in the second half this year. Ownby in the center circle tries to build up here for Lou City as we wind towards stoppage time in this first half, presented by Louisville's Muhammad Ali International Airport. 5 minutes of stoppage time in half 2. Farrell funnels down the pitch. Loss comes out, and he had to read that one perfectly. His defense able to shield enough, and Kyle Adams gives Loss a hug. Louisville also looking for a 5th consecutive clean sheet. Would be the first time since 2016 that the club achieves that. As the streak has now reached 500 minutes without a goal allowed. Panayoti pushes this ball for Galina. Tosh gets the angle. Loss doesn't take any chances. McCabe, Lambert widens the park, but over to step to it is Owen Prestis, the former Columbus Crew 2 star. McCabe, Lambert. Excellent work in a tight space.
This has been a special season for Louisville City. When you look at what they've accomplished as a group, there's not many times they'll be able to replicate what they've done so far this season. And I hope they're given the credit, the reward, and the acknowledgement for what they've done as regular season champions. Of course, it'd be great if they go on and accomplish the playoff champions also, but I don't think anybody should underestimate or try to downplay what they've accomplished in the regular season this year. It's been absolutely phenomenal.
Halfway through second half stoppage time. These were the top 2 teams in the East since June 14th. Lou City's been atop the table for much of the season. Hartford got off to a sluggish start to the year. In fact, they were dead last when these teams last met in May. But since June 14th, 38 points, 4 more than anybody else in the East other than Louisville. And a stoppage time goal here would earn a home playoff match. Samaria slings it in. Second ball off of Jimenez. Samaria able to get back on side, sends another one in. Deespe unable to get there. It stays in. Perez. Samaria.
Late drama.
Perhaps at the final whistle here. Samaria in. Takes a couple bounces. Lou City clear. And a foot race now. The fresh legs of Ownby against another league veteran in Farrell. Ownby springs in, cannot hold on to it. Foul whistled on Farrell. Free kick for Lou City, and a yellow card as well for Joey Farrell, the 31-year-old.
Ownby turning the jets on Farrell there. Looked like Farrell was running with the handbrakes on, and Ownby here cuts inside it. Maybe you'd say a smart foul from Farrell there, just outside the box, knowing the goal-scoring opportunity was coming.
Bone Dry Roofing, yellow card there for Farrell. And now a free kick here for Louisville. Brought to you by Fifth Third. They've been knocking on the door all second half. They have picked up so many shots in the second half, so many corners, but have not been able to finish. 16 second half shots for Lou City. McCabe and Morris stand on top. Niall McCabe rolls it for Morris, who goes to the corner flag, sensing there is not enough time for Hartford if they can hold on to it, but they do give it away. So one final chance here for Hartford to try to win a home playoff match. This will be it.
10 seconds to go in the game and they still choose to play short. Maybe it works out, but maybe there's a little bit more urgency to get the ball into the attacking third with just a couple seconds left.
And how friendly will our official be with the timing? Prestis.
I never understand that.
Samadia charges. Samadia pushes it in. Off of the touch. Galina. Mishi Galina. Loss comes out. He had not been asked to do anything all evening, but in the waning seconds, Damian Loss seals a 5th consecutive clean sheet, a 22nd win on the season, and the all-time USL Championship points per game record. The Shield winners surpassed 2012 Orlando City's mark with 2.43 per match, and the #1 team in the league soar into the postseason, riding a 16-match unbeaten run.
And Danny Cruz's demeanor. No fist pumping, no celebrating, just straight business. Handshakes, well done, on to the next.
Well, no home field for Hartford either. It will be Pittsburgh that wins the #4 seed in the East, and they will host Hartford. Meanwhile, Lou City will await their opponent, Tampa Bay and Detroit, 1-1, Indy 11 getting ready to take flight against Orange County. Tonight's game resulting in a Kroger clean sheet. 0 goals, 0 hunger, 0 waste. And a victorious night in the hometown of Louisville, Kentucky here this evening. Chris and I will recap the regular season finale in just a moment.
This time of year, it's all or nothing. And your Toyota dealers have all you need to pull you through the rain, snow, and mud that's headed our way. Now, during Toyota Truck Month, they've got more all-wheel drive choices, like the legendary 4Runner, the world-renowned Land Cruiser, the trail-dominating Tacoma, or this powerful new 25 Tundra with $3,000 customer cash or 1.75 APR financing. Or lease this Tundra for just $409 a month. Now, during Toyota Truck Month. Toyota, let's go places.
At Kroger, you never compromise. Because you get up high quality and down low prices. Up high quality that's guaranteed fresh, and down low prices in every aisle. With quality and savings that keep adding up, Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Ready to upgrade your air for less? Durr does that. Right now, get a new water heater for free when you upgrade your heating and cooling system. Saving you money, just another reason A+ Durr is your call for comfort.
It's a victorious evening here tonight for Lou City, as you can head to Penn Station to get a free sub with a purchase of another. Offer valid the following day after a win. Head to any participating Louisville area Penn Station location to redeem and say Lou City won at checkout, or use promo code LouBogo25 online. Lou City wins it 1-0. They end the historic season with the victory as we look back at the highlights of this one. And really only one goal-scoring opportunity in that first half, as our move of the game, brought to you by Toyota, saw Philip Goodrum finish this second chance.
Goodrum coming up good again. for Louisville City. Just stays with the play here. Deflection from Farrell, hits the knee, hits the post, comes back to Goodrum, and he buries it into the back of the net. The pivotal moment that gives Louisville all 3 points tonight and allows them to break that record.
But they had so many chances in this second half. It felt like a second was going to come. This one from Lambert ends up hitting the post.
Yeah, so many chances there. Wouldn't know where to start from, and sneaks into the back post here. Lambert, as we said, just lacked a little bit of conviction when he connects with the ball and he sees it ricochet off the inside of the post. And Bernard, very grateful this one finds its way into his hands. You can see his reaction.
That was really the story of the second half. It was all Louisville for so long in half two. They were on the doorstep time and time again. Bernard made a couple really good saves, including this one on this cross from Lambert, looking for Goodrum that hit it high.
Lambert, great delivery here. Goodrum, good timing of the run. Just too much. You could say the connection's too good here. If he probably scuffs this, it's in the back of the net, but strong header finds its way over the crossbar from 6 yards out.
And instead it stays 1-0 at that point in time. And then in the 84th minute, Bernard had his best save of the night. It looked like Ownby was going to finish off this break.
See 2v1 here. Great ball in behind, but it's good defending from Preston in the end to get enough pressure, knock Ownby off balance. And then Bernard with the fingertip save tips this one over the crossbar. At this point, Hartford, despite maybe not in contention in play, but through scoreline, they were still in the game.
So 1-0 at that point, and that is how the night ends. And here is the table. Lou City, the fourth team in history, and first since 2015 to finish with just one loss for the year. Meanwhile, their opponent will be either Indy 11 or Detroit City. Indy is in a win-and-in situation that would bounce Detroit out of the playoffs as they finish 1-1 against Tampa Bay.
Yeah, you can look at the stats or however you want to look at it. Phenomenal season for Louisville City. So many accolades, so many records broken, so much positive in their performance. Can they go ahead now and seal it off with a cherry and win the playoffs?
Hartford, meanwhile, will travel to Pittsburgh for the opening round of the postseason. Louisville, 16 in a row unbeaten to end the season. The best points per game mark in the history of the USL, and the fourth team in the history with just one loss in the season. Hartford, meanwhile, end the year in the postseason for the second time as Lou City wins it 1-0 here tonight. Postseason is next week. Visit USLChampionship.com for all the latest info. For my partner Chris Nurse and our entire crew here in Louisville, Kentucky, I'm Michael Watring. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.